QAnon has moved off the internet and coming for you. I kind of want to watch that. Did we watch this already?
Pizzagate's real.
Came out about that.
Epstein did not kill himself.
You have Oprah Winfrey inside of the islands sexually trafficking children.
Where did you read that?
This is.
We're following.
Wow, typical Vice. They cut the truth. You see that, brothers? They cut the fucking truth.
A Save the Children rally. We're seeing people that are wearing some hashtags that refer to the QAnon conspiracy theory.
Where we go one, we go all.
I see that.
Holy fuck, my dude is so sweaty, dude. I'm perspiring because there's pedophiles about. That's why I'm perspiring, brother. There's a pedophile in every corner.
That's a Q reference, right? Are you a supporter of Q?
Yeah.
QAnon is an expansive set of conspiracy theories that first popped up on the old 4chan message board in 2017. Q claimed to be an intelligence operative with information on a deep state plot.
What they're doing now to the kids is horrific.
Who's they?
Okay.
I'm
the
asking.
people that are stealing the kids and doing human trafficking and hurting people. Well, I don't know exactly who. I don't even want to get into that, but there's people doing it. And
he's just scared. He doesn't want to say the Jews, dude. He literally doesn't want to say it, but he's like, come on. Come on, you know what I'm talking about. They.
there's people out there doing it.
Straight up, dude. Straight up. Okay, pussy, say it. Just say it, bro. Who's doing it? Huh? Okay, but who's doing it?
The central belief is that Democrats and celebrities are trafficking children and drinking their blood. Q continues to drop cryptic posts called breadcrumbs for followers to use as jumping off points for research.
It's sick. It's sick what they do.
Reba Cheryl is one of more than 70 QAnon supporters who ran as Republicans in the primaries.
When Q came on the scene, I saw that this Q was saying the same things I knew to be accurate.
Which were?
About the fraud and corruption, about the human trafficking, about the treasonous acts that have been going on, the tyranny that exists in the United States and around the world. It's terrible what's been happening.
Cheryl put up $350,000 from her own pocket to fund her campaign here in Florida's 21st District, which is home to President Trump. She didn't win, but hasn't given up on her platform.
Hey, Reba, how are you?
In fact, Cheryl plans to run for Senate in 2022.
Hi, Will. How are you?
Before she could talk with us, she joined her campaign advisor for a political call.
Dude, what the fuck is this, dude? I'm sorry, but what is this Agent 47? I mean, this is like... This dude is... Not to hate on bald white guys, but, I mean, look less like a fucking... Nazi, dude. Can you please?
P-word. Make that
like do something.
Pepega clap.
Agent 46. Please, just like figure it out, dude. You literally look like a white supremacist, dude. You
phone right now.
I mean, he might be. He also might be, but like
Now are advocates for the 146 missing soldiers out of Fort Hood, Texas.
Soldiers have died at Fort Hood in individual cases of suicide and homicide, but for the people in this room, they are all connected to something more.
The belief in the working theory is that these soldiers that are missing and murdered are being used as part of a for-profit venture in a battle between the Sinaloa and Juarez drug cartels. And Sarge, correct me if I'm wrong, please. The working theory is that these drug cartels have infiltrated this very large military base and that there is sex.
It's so wild because there's a gigantic problem with sexual assault and suicide within the military, even when you don't deploy. And it's like a well-known issue that people have talked about, and there's even been congressional hearings over it and shit. But like, they take a real fucking issue, and then they turn it into like some weird. They take a real issue and then bastardize it to their like psychotic needs.
Trafficking and organ trafficking going on with these missing soldiers. Sarge, would you like to add to that discussion?
Yes, I would. A lot of these commands are made very well aware of these incidences on their posts, rather than
And they ignore it.
The problem is it takes time, and it's a blemish on that record.
That's just like with the child sex trafficking. We have to face it. We have to admit there's a problem, like the 12-step program. You know, the first step is you admit you've got a problem. We have a problem in Fort Hood, and this kind of shit needs to stop.
How did you find Q?
In my research and just staying on top of things.
Yo, these motherfuckers always love doing research too. Like, what research, idiot? Going on fucking message boards is not research. Oh my god, dude. Same energy as like neoliberals on subreddits, by the way. I'm actually doing research right now by going to my favorite neoliberal subreddit to learn talking points.
I came across it one day when I was looking at, I don't know, some comments on Fox News. I had watched a YouTube or something. I don't really remember exactly how it first came to my attention. So, Wheeling Against Tyranny.
Is that you?
That's me, baby. Second Amendment. And then I also designed this one because I am a Trump supporter.
Many Q followers, many of the folks that are intrigued by Q, also support President Trump. What do Q followers see in Trump?
Q really focuses on sedition, focuses on treason, focuses on the child sex trafficking. These are big issues.
And how is Trump related to that?
Well, I personally, I mean, I know the man. I know that he is focused on saving these children.
One of the biggest pushbacks against Q is that they're making massive generalizations and characterizations with baseless claims.
I deal in facts and evidence.
But what you believe are facts,
Listen, what you don't understand is I've seen hours upon hours of 4chan memes. Okay, that's research. I've seen thousands of pages full of despicable minion memes that tell me that Hillary Clinton's running a pedophile ring with John and Tony Podesta. That's a fact.
people believe are
Well,
simply
I've
lies.
lived it. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm a conspiracy realist because I only talk about the things that I know for a fact.
When you make these vague claims that
I mean, her name is Reba already, so that's a L.
There's some whores in this house.
Immediate L.
are murdering and eating the flesh of children, I would love for you to tell us what is the reality behind that.
There's some whores in this
Who
house.
is they?
There's some whores in this
Well,
house.
the extent of all the people that are doing it, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Why is it on
I
your
know
campaign
there
website?
are hundreds of thousands of sealed indictments right now. I mean, I'm sure you remember
Seriously, though, did
Jeffrey
Trump talk to
Dahmer.
Jimmy
I mean, he
Hoffa?
wasn't eating children, but he was eating human flesh. I respect life. That's why I ran as a Republican. But there
Very common, known. The party most known for respecting life, the Republicans. 200,000 officially, by the way, dead from coronavirus as of like today.
are many things about the Republican Party that disgust me.
Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of fraud and corruption. Just like on the Democrat side, they're both corrupt as hell.
Is this the future of the Republican Party? Folks like yourself?
What I would love to see in politics in this country is the everyday person serving in Congress. The majority of people that are in positions of power right now are attorneys. And that's not what our country looks like.
But she wasn't the only unconventional candidate running in the president's district.
This is a deranged pervert.
Oh no.
2020 FTP.
Oh no, it's Joe Exotic type. It's another Joe Exotic type, dude. Oh, fuck me. All right, there we go.
Thank you.
Liz Felton, an exotic pet owner and former exotic dancer, doesn't consider herself a Q supporter, but she uses Q as a news source.
You've never been in politics, right? Most people will see you and say, this is a pretty different type of candidate. Why did you decide to run?
So what's funny is, of the half dozen who ran on the Republican side, nobody was in politics. Not one of us.
Notice one thing about all these people that run Republican, but they're like real, you know, salt of the earth people, right? They are all very well off. They're all like, that other lady just dropped $365K on a dime, like for no reason. 365 bills, dude. Think about that, to like run for Congress and lose. This lady owns like a fucking zoo full of exotic animals. Like, come on, dude. Like, they're just, you know, yeah, I'm just your average millionaire. Exactly.
His name.
Do you think Vice is being irresponsible giving a platform? No, so I've obviously known about QAnon for a while. I've been following them. I even went on the fucking QAnonymous podcast back in the day. A group of lefties who make fun of QAnon and closely track them, if you guys remember. And I mean, wow, now that I think about it, that was like fucking literally like a year and a half ago or some shit, which is crazy. So you know, I've been tracking these dudes for a while, but I at that time felt bad about highlighting it, because I was like, more people should not know about this. And it didn't seem like it was that big. It didn't seem like it was like hitting its peak. And now it's impossible not to cover it. Because it's official. Like, what is it, like 4 out of 10 Republicans think that like QAnon has some significance? Like, there's numbers coming out about this pretty much every day now, and it's all fucking terrifying.
To me, that's promising. That means that I'm not the only person who's going, listen, the way things are going right now isn't working.
In one of your recent TikToks, you used the hashtag QAnon.
QAnon. So QAnon.
Do you believe in QAnon? Do you believe in the movement?
Well, so here's the thing. It's crazy because Q is not one thing. Q is not one person.
What does it mean to you?
Q is millions of people taking stuff and fact-checking it. And for a long time, you know, we would just believe whatever the media handed us. Okay, this is the story, this is the angle on the story, and this is what people are going to get fed. And people started going, wait, that's not. And I've seen it myself with the exotic animal stuff, and it's...
That's true. It really did blow up. It really did blow up into like different circles because of coronavirus. One of the houses in my neighborhood is covered in cardboard signs talking about Q stuff. Guys, she's fact-checking, dude.
Q is not
what
one person.
What does it mean to you?
Q is millions of people taking stuff and fact-checking it. And for a long time, you know, we would just believe whatever the media handed us. Okay, this is the story, this is the angle on the story.
Yeah. And now instead, we just believe whatever some fucking anonymous message board cooks up for us instead. It's pretty cool. You know, you can do it too. Instead of believing what the media tells you, you just believe what a random anonymous person tells you on the internet.
And this is what people are going to get fed. And people started going, wait, that's not. And I've seen it myself with the exotic animal stuff. And it's to push somebody's agenda. When you see hashtag Q, what I wanted people to know is I know you're there. I'm listening. I'm not ignoring you. You know, your beliefs, your thoughts, the way you're seeing things, that's every bit as important as what people are seeing on the mainstream news. I think it's important for people to feel heard.
One of the main principles of Q, right, is that there's
political
elite pedophiles that are part of this sex trafficking ring. Do you believe that?
I believe it's possible. And I believe,
what makes you believe that?
And I believe it's worth looking into. So this is where I pulled up my notes. And so the first one I pulled up was...
Oh, you just have too much time on your hands, man.
Wide peepo happy.
It's funny to say that on Twitch because, like, if you watch me on Twitch, I'm fucking live 10 hours a day. So you probably have too much time on your hands too. But at least you're like entertaining yourself. You're learning a little bit about the news. You're getting into a fucking sense of a community. It's like overall not harmful. Whereas This lady is just like, or most QAnon supporters are like literally batshit fucking crazy. You might get a different perspective if you're here, if you spend some time in here. You might have your mind changed a little bit about the way you previously saw the world. You might develop a more materialist analysis. We disagree in here all the time. You literally banned me for 2 weeks once. Yeah, live drive. But QAnon is just fucking insane. Like they 56% say fully or partially true. Oh, according to Forbes, majority of Republicans believe the QAnon theory is partly or mostly true. Yeah, it's like 20% that believe it's like mostly true though. If the mainstream news weren't for profit, do you believe Q wouldn't be a thing nowadays? What do you mean?
Was Harvey Weinstein, who was convicted, right, of sexual. Okay, and so, you know, typical Qs would say, oh, he was a Clinton donor, right? And her answer was that, well, he donated to all the Democrats. Huma Aberdeen, her husband, that's Hillary's right-hand woman, or was, her husband was convicted of sending pictures to an underage girl, a 15-year-old girl. Bill Clinton had denied being on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Pictures have just surfaced of Bill Clinton with one of the victims.
We're talking about child sex trafficking, and there's a difference between cases and making a generalization that Democrats are inciting this.
How many pedophile-ish, child trafficking-ish people do you have to have around you before people say, we should look into that? And that's what
was that photo?
I'm saying. I'm not saying that, oh, these are all facts. What I'm saying is that when you get enough questions about something, you go, well, let me look into more. I know one of the theories is that Hillary Clinton was, you know, a Satan worshiper and, you know,
this is a deranged
doing sacrifice.
What is she, like the reasonable QAnon supporter? I'm confused. Like, are there very wealthy and very powerful people who do like weird sex pest shit, and some of them definitely fuck girls and boys under the age of 18? Absolutely. Okay. I mean, look no further than the bunga bunga parties. Okay. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting Berlusconi. That's the name. That's the name I was thinking of. Like, this happens all around the world. Jeffrey Epstein is a real one too. But like, it's not fucking every Democrat who opposes Donald Trump, and also Republicans too. Right after they fucking oppose Donald Trump. Like, that's not how this works. There are relatively
We're gonna follow you right back to
there are relatively reasonable and aware people who use Q reference to grift. Yeah, I can see that.
Illuminati 9/11 inside job movement.
As a progressive, this is the reason I don't like leftist media like Vice. They refuse to admit when people who they aren't sided with have a point.
Globalists as the anti-people who want to destroy us.
Best way to describe Q, in my opinion, is a Big Ten conspiracy. You can find almost every other major conspiracy in it. Yeah, like the cure for cancer. QAnon supporters, some of them believe that the cure for cancer is already out there and the government is hiding it so that the big pharmaceutical corporations can make money, right? Like, so the grain of truth hidden inside of that completely fucking insane conspiracy theory is the fact that pharmaceutical corporations actually, when they are guided by profit, oftentimes will inhibit or will stop innovation from happening if it's not profitable enough. Like hunting for different delivery methods on the same fucking patent so you can reconfigure it for another 7 years or whatever is a common practice in the pharmaceutical industry. Not further experimenting on certain drugs to find other uses because you no longer own these, you no longer will be the sole owner of the patent for that drug specifically is another thing that pharmaceutical corporations do. Right? So mistrust over gigantic corporations as a consequence of their endless pursuit of maximizing their profits or their shareholder interest is understandable. Taking that to a place where you're like, actually they're hiding the fucking cancer vaccine because they want to make money is psychotic. Okay? And the problem, I believe, is it's like Tucker Carlson. No one is giving them their vegetables. These people are running around. They kind of understand why they mistrust corporations, right? They kind of understand why they feel frustrated. They kind of understand that, like, big business there to fuck them. But no one will tell them that in mainstream media, because a lot of media is also very much the part of that same system that legitimizes, that same system that absolutely legitimizes all of the awful, horrific, cruel nature of capitalism, or like brushes it under the fucking rug, or makes it so that there's no other system. There's no other organization of the economy, and all the other organizations of the economy would be awful and destructive, right? So they look to these alternative, they look to these other places where they can find contextualizations of things that they previously thought were impossible to comprehend, but they're still seeking that truth. They're like, oh, why this doesn't make any sense, especially when like massive world-changing events occur, like a fucking global pandemic. It's in the human condition to want to try to figure out why it happened. It's very hard to just be like, bad things happen, okay? Sucks to suck, but bad things fucking happen. So people always try to contextualize and try to make it a grander conspiracy than it actually is. And it's the same as religion. It plays a similar role to religion. Tucker Carlson gives you left-wing economic populism so that he can drive home his nationalist agenda. That's why he's so fucking popular, because he gives you the left-wing economic populism. And that's why I always used to say for years, if the left and liberals in general don't actually engage with the truth and don't actually fucking tell people, like, yes, capitalism, at least in its current, at least in the current stage that it's in, I guess, if you don't want to believe in like capitalism inherently being this way as a consequence of the contradictions between class interests. Capitalism, if you don't want to fucking admit that capitalism across the board is this way, but you want to say that like in this stage capitalism is fucked up and we have to do something like redistributive policies, okay? Someone else is going to do that, even if they're not being genuine, and they're going to steal that audience, and they're going to start making a lot of sense. But the nefarious purpose behind someone like Tucker Carlson saying left-wing economic populism, left-wing economic populist rhetoric, preaching that sort of thing, is so that they can sell you nationalism. QAnon is backed by a lot of grifters who just want to make money and sell merchandise and shit like that. And they're doing a similar thing. They're contextualizing something that you previously thought had no answer. And they're using the actual frustrations that you feel and the biases that you may have, and using a grain of truth while they're doing it. So that's how they win you over, and that's how they fucking throw you down this rabbit hole of conspiracies. I think it's also appealing because it makes you feel like you're part of a heroic vanguard of people trying to figure out a secret you aren't supposed to know. Exactly. People want to feel important, and Q gives them that. Exactly. That's why originally they were called bakers. Originally they were called, like the QAnon supporters used to follow breadcrumbs. There would be a Q drop. There'd be breadcrumbs. It's like a Sudoku puzzle that you're engaging in. It gave you a sense of community as well, a sense of belonging. It hits all of the fucking metrics. That's why it's so fucking successful. It has anti-corporate, anti-capitalist messaging baked into it at a time when a lot of people are understandably frustrated with corporations and don't even recognize it. It has fucking the puzzle element to it. Follow the breadcrumbs. It has a sense of community, a sense of belonging, and it also finally contextualizes things that you previously did not have an answer for. And that is how these people get caught up.
Devices with babies. I don't know. The only thing I could find was that Saul Alinsky made a dedication to Satan or Lucifer in his book, and she really admires his work. So that's the only connect. So you know, unless somebody.
Anti-Semitism is at the heart of nearly every conspiracy, because every conspiracy needs to have a little bow that wraps it all up, right? It needs to have an other. And Jews are the other historically for every group. They've historically always been the villains in every fucking conspiracy theory. A group of individuals who are engaging in shadow dealings and control the planet. Puppet masters with their puppet strings. So that's why all of those conspiracy theories ultimately go back to the Jews. When deepfakes become indistinguishable from real life, we're all doomed. Citizens are so gullible.
His name is Hassan.
Bread dough pizza, Pizzagate, pedos, has chud.
The adrenochrome of Q is classic blood libel, but they aren't talking about blood and matzah, but just drinking blood.
Somebody does a study.
You don't believe it?
It's a question. It's just a question. It's I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of I don't know out there until things are confirmed.
Tell me why you support Trump.
I like the openness. I really like the openness.
What's your reaction when someone say the horseshoe theory fits? Just super curious. Yeah, it's fucking idiotic. Just like the fucking, what is it? The fishhook theory. All of this stuff is just nonsense. Okay. Don't study poli-sci, but like these people are just fucking making shit up. Oh my God, all radical ideas are the same ultimately. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. The fishhook theory is that liberals, the fishhook theory at least has historic precedent, which is that liberals and centrists ultimately side with power, and power is oftentimes the side, the fascist side has power. That's what that is. So at least there's historic precedent for it, whether it be Nazi Germany or literally right now. But like the horseshoe theory is like communism and Nazism is the same because they're both radical. It's like, okay, dude. It's that the right wraps back around to the center if people are confused. Yeah, it's like a fishhook. Anti-Semitism is materialism for morons. For babies. Like, you have to have a baby brain to think that an entire group of people that are a part of a specific tribe are just trying to do evil. Like, you have to tie it up to something, right? And if there is no materialist grounding to your theory, then you have to tie it up to some spiritual shit. And you tie it to like Jews.
Thank you for existing.
And they've always tied it back to Jews as like the historic other.
Of the social media, same reason I like Q. Just, it's a direct line to question everything that's going on.
The winner of Felton and Cheryl's race was Laura Loomer, a self-described proud Islamophobe. Though she's not a vocal Q follower,
I wonder if she walked over there because she's fucking banned from Uber and Lyft. Get wrecked, you psychopath.
She used to be a correspondent for InfoWars, a site known for peddling conspiracies. She's now been...
You guys remember Laura Loomer thirsting over that fucking Nazi? That like Nazi youth dude? She was like, come on, I know I'm Jewish, but I have big Ashkenazi tits and an Ashkenazi IQ. Come on, please fuck me. And the Nazi dude was like, get the fuck away from me. Like, you're a Jew, get away. And she was still like, is that what she said? She said, Khazar milkers? Is that what she said? Yeah, I have big tits and an Ashkenazi IQ. Oh, God, you're so fucking pathetic, dude. I think the internet is at fault for these hogs. Too easy to access information, too hard for annoying people to fact check. The real reason conspiracy theories work, ASAP Science? No, I haven't seen it, but...
Raised by the GOP.
I was honored on Tuesday to receive a phone call from Ronna McDaniel, the chairwoman of the Republican National Committee, who also paid me some wonderful...
Oh yeah, she fucking chained herself. She chained herself. She handcuffed herself to Twitter's New York City headquarters. You guys remember that? What a sick fuck.
Compliments. She told me that I'm a political rock star and a change agent for the Republican Party.
In other states, unconventional candidates are hoping to get that same reception. QAnon-linked Republican candidates are on the November ballot in 11 states. The highest profile? Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Real
posted
sicko.
support for QAnon online.
I don't know who Q is, but I'm just going to tell you about it because I think it's something worth listening to.
President Trump congratulated her and even invited her to watch him accept the nomination. During the week of the RNC, Loomer spoke at Club 45, a gathering place for Trump's biggest fans. It's also where QAnon supporters and Republicans intersect.
Why are people so afraid to embrace Q?
For the stigma of being labeled a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And I don't think people want to be labeled that. But if you really do enough research, which is what QAnon recommends every individual does,
Yeah.
you find out for yourself. And then you decide for yourself, which is what America is. It should be people that think freely for themselves and then decide what they want to believe.
As a Q supporter, do you feel like folks in this room support you?
I don't know, they support Trump. I support Trump.
For QAnon voters, Trump's re-election is essential.
Donald Trump is pushing towards an anti-corruption campaign. Q is also pushing an anti-corruption campaign, and they both meet in the middle of government corruption.
Sergio Michel is a Q follower who attended Club 45 to support the president. Dissatisfied with the greater GOP, he sat down with us to tell us how Q is now informing his vote.
Q has empowered and emboldened the average individual who has never looked for a conflict in their life to be out and open and outspoken about corruption.
Will those folks be voting for Trump in November?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where exactly does Q fit within the larger Republican Party?
Like, imagine, turn in your weapon. Yeah, we're watching Forge in the Fire again, boys. Just imagine fucking being like, I hate corruption and pedophiles, and then literally fucking voting for Donald Trump. Like, even if you don't believe the accusations of sexual assault and the numerous things that Donald Trump has said about young women and like how, you know, he loves to watch them get naked and stuff because he owns like fucking Miss Universe and Miss America and shit. Like, he's homies with so many fucking pedos, dude. Oh, here, this is the video.
Your eyes look so good. You're like beautiful.
Thank you.
You're like an Aryan degenerate goddess.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. You're Aryan too.
I know, but I'm Jewish.
It's okay.
And the Nazis hate me.
It's fine.
The alt-right people want to put me in a gas chamber because they're obsessed with the Jews.
I think they're just memeing on you, but it's okay.
They're just jealous because I have big tits and an Ashkenazi IQ.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You got it.
I'm going to tell you a secret. Like, do you know so many people in this movement who preach trap life are like fucking people on the side and like cheating on their partners?
That's
like,
so bad.
Like, they're not even like really trap life. Like,
One reason for conspiracy theories is to account for proportionality bias. Big events must have big causes. Oh yeah, of course. Dude, look at this. Look at me. Chat. I'm so fucked. I'm so fucking red, dude. This is not good.
It has a place because the Republican Party has shifted from the old school kind of country club Republican to the MAGA person who wants corruption to end. When you look at the MAGA movement, it ultimately comes down to those things are the fault of politicians who are lining their own pockets and betraying the American people. Q says that there's corruption that is enabling child trafficking and all kinds of other unholy, unseemly stuff. They are simpatico. And since MAGA has taken over GOP, okay, Q is being absorbed into MAGA, thus means that by the time the next election cycle comes, the people of Q will basically be the quintessential average right-winger.
There's no doubt QAnon's influence is growing. During the lockdown alone, QAnon Google searches spiked, and membership for QAnon Facebook groups surged, reaching millions.
The worst part about it is that like these QAnon guys, especially like the top level forward-facing QAnon guys, are huge grifters, right?
Man, Hassan.
So they know exactly how to capitalize on a pandemic. If there was another big thing that happened, like another world-changing event occurred, you know what I mean? Like another, I don't know, like JFK assassination is one that sparks a lot of fucking conspiracies. 9/11 is another one. Coronavirus is another one where like a world-changing massive event happened and people were like, this needed to have happened for something. This needed to have happened for a reason. So they know exactly how to capitalize on that. That's why it blew the fuck up during COVID, because they tied it into pandemic.
And now they're meeting up in real life.
The Q movement is about truth. Trump represents our country, and there's nothing that will keep me from voting for him.
QAnon followers were among those who gathered at the Red Pill Roadshow, a free speech event to celebrate the president's nomination at the RNC.
What we've seen so far is that
they're not meth heads, dude. They're all like upper middle class fucking white people. That's it. And it's not even just white people. QAnon has also now made its way into like the anti-vaxxer yoga moms and shit too. Like they know how to like suck up other bubbles on the internet and infect it like brain cancer. In Jacksonville, meth head equals middle class.
MAGA and Q are completely intertwined. What started as an internet movement, right in the dark corners of 4chan or an 8chan, is starting to morph into something that has a physical aspect to it, right? It's people in a space, building a community, and the question is how.
Just answer yes or no just this one time. Do you actually think people living out of a cave in Afghanistan were behind 11th September? Are you fucking dumb? The people living in a cave were like heavily armed, heavily trained mujahideen fighters that fucking turned into Al-Qaeda that were funded by a gigantically wealthy Saudi businessman's son, who also had at least some of his members of his terror cell were absolutely fucking trained by the CIA to fight back against the USSR back in the day. So they're not like just in a cave, dog. These motherfuckers were well funded. They had the logistics. Like, saying that they're just in a fucking cave makes it seem like they were just goat herders or some shit, and not the fucking very wealthy and very well trained group of individuals who had a fucking bloodlust.
This is a deranged pervert.
3 is a big number. Love you, Arjan.
This isn't motherfucking Iron Man 1. Imagine thinking that Afghan people funded 911. Yeah, literally, like, Afghanistan had nothing, and I mean pretty much nothing to do with 9/11. Iraq had even less to do with 9/11. The country that had the most to do with 9/11, we never even punished them. They are our greatest ally in the Middle East.
His name
Motherfucker,
is
Saudi
Hassan.
Arabia. Do we invade Saudi Arabia? Fuck no, dude.
How will the Republican Party embrace that?
There are people that are staunch Republicans that follow QAnon. It does not have an official role in the Republican
In your
Party.
eyes, should it?
I don't think so. It's part of where people get information from, which is great.
Peter Feeman is a liaison to the Republican National Committee. He helps push the party's platform in Florida.
Does the Republican Party need their vote?
The Republican Party needs everybody's vote who's concerned about the corruption in Washington, D.C. Some of that includes people who follow Q, absolutely. QAnon is slowly revealing things about the deep state and the swamp that people need to know. And so President Trump embraces that in some respects.
Like, the funniest thing is, like, people turn around and say, I'm fucking tinfoil Andy, when I talk about, I don't know, the fact that suspiciously nearly every single person that was involved in the Brooks Brothers riot in 2000 in Florida were all Republican operatives, none of them from the fucking state of Florida, and most of them went on to get jobs in the Bush administration. That's tinfoil hat Andy shit. When that's astroturfed and you call it out, that's tinfoil hat Andy shit. But then simultaneously, it's like, yeah, a fucking anonymous internet blog where anyone can write literally anything they want is actually uncovering and unmasking deep state pedophile conspiracies.
Because he's there to drain the swamp as well.
As the National Committee man, are you willing to disavow Q?
Q is a people's movement, and whether it has a place in the Republican Party formally or not is not really the issue. Q is important because questions are being raised about the deep state.
The funniest part is, like, when you talk about deep state or when you talk about the intelligence community, like, they have done so many horrible things and still continue to do so to this day. But, like, if you talk about the NSA wiretapping the entire fucking country and pretty much having access to all of our personal private information, if you talk about, I don't know, what's fucking Peter Thiel's company name again? I forget. It's the crazy artificial intelligence, like, search paradigm. Is that what it was called? Palantir, yeah. Like, if you talk about the CIA's investment bank, if you talk about the CIA's investment bank funding everything from Google Maps all the way to Palantir and numerous other technology that straight the fuck up tracks all of our movement and will change fighting crime, like in the way that you see Minority Report, but like very racist. All that stuff, that's a conspiracy. It's like, okay. Like, those guys think that stuff is fucking fake, but then they turn around and believe, like, the intelligence community is actually running, like, sex parties all the time with the Democrats in the basement of a pizza place, like, in D.C. Palantir is literally a surveillance tool used by villains in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's named after that, right? The Eye of Sauron or whatever. What is America doing about Japan developing these war machines? Yeah, I saw the life-size Gundam. You agree on Snowden being a hero? Of course I agree on Snowden being a hero, dude. What are you, fucking nuts? A lot of these people think that there are actual satanic rituals happening. What is there to even do at that point? I don't know.
This is a deranged pervert.
How do you feel about the new app that lets them subcontract out evictions?
Here, drain the swamp a lot. What the fuck does that mean? Is it a dog whistle? Drain the swamp is what Donald Trump said. DC is a swamp. And he was right. DC is a fucking swamp with swamp monsters. Drain the swamp, when MAGA people say it, it's a MAGA, it's like a MAGA chud anthem at this point. It's just bullshit. Because Donald Trump went to the swamp that's DC and brought even worse swamp creatures to that swamp. So it's pure projection.